Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners. My co-host Philip Sykes has the day off today, and we wish him well. I know he has been traveling, and I've seen some amazing pictures on Facebook of the event that he's attending, so we'll look forward to having him back. We do have a fabulous guest today who is backstage, and I'll be bringing out shortly. And I just want to tee up the idea of, in your mind, wherever you are in the world, what comes up when you think about etiquette and manners? Is it opening a door for someone? Is it how your place setting is on the table? Is it using a napkin when you're sitting at a table? Is it anything more than this? Is it all of this? What are your thoughts? We're going to find out, because good manners and etiquette are always in style, and so is emotional intelligence. There is so much that we can learn as a global society. I really believe that etiquette and manners is at the core of everything. And along those lines, so is the power of elevated listening. These things all come together. So when you are living your life with a high level of emotional intelligence, when you are carrying out your tasks, you're sharing your thoughts, and you're doing it with etiquette and manners. When you are listening, you're completely focused, you're not distracted, and you're giving someone that space to share their story. That's etiquette and manners. So we're going to bring out our guest. She is very well versed in etiquette and manners. Her name is Leanne, and she is with the British School of Excellence, formerly the British School of Etiquette. And we're going to be having a chat with her about what she does at the organization and a little bit about her background, how things have been for her the last couple of years during the pandemic. So please help me welcome Leanne from the British School of Excellence to our program. Hi, Leanne. How are you?
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Lovely to meet you eventually. We've had so many calls, so many conversations, a lot of correspondence, and it's great to actually eventually meet you. And thank you so much for the wonderful, warm welcome.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for all the help that you provide in bringing fabulous guests. Oh, she disappeared. She has brought so many fabulous guests to this platform, especially women and women from around the world who have then taken the initiative to actually join our team here at USA Global TV and Radio by becoming an elevated listener, getting certified to listen at a higher level. Leanne's back. She's just joining us. It's interesting how technology works. She apparently was on all morning, all day there in the UK and didn't have any issues. So we know that being someone who broadcasts all the time, that there are technical glitches that happen. It's just energy, and we just appreciate it when it works and appreciate it when it doesn't work. So we'll wait for Leanne. But as I was mentioning to you before, what does come up for you? If you'd like to put it into the comments section, what do you think of when you think of etiquette and manners? And also, what would you like to learn about to help you when it comes to emotional intelligence, when it comes to being a polished professional? So at the British School of Excellence, where Leanne is from, as well as Philip, who started it, he's the principal, there are many courses that are available to teach people how to be a polished professional. There's Train the Trainer for people to actually take their skills to the next level. And I suggest this for everyone, because whether you are working in a corporate environment, you have your own business, or you're a homemaker, it's really important to understand about etiquette and manners, because people do evaluate how you treat them. Are you smiling? Are you looking directly at them? Are you talking to the back of someone's head? Are you in a public place using your cell phone so that the whole world can hear your conversation? Are you at a fitness center or a gym working out and you also have your phone out and you're talking to someone? There's a sign right there that says no telephones, no mobile devices, but yet you think it just doesn't apply to you. Are you in your car driving and you're so frantic about what it is you have to do that you cut people off, or that you won't let someone in when it comes to traffic? You know, there's a natural evolution that we let people in one at a time. Are you doing that? Or are you just focused on you? So again, I'd love to hear from you. I don't see any comments at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to take a quick break and see if Leanne can connect. And if not, we will have another topic for our discussion for today. So please do stay with us. We will take a moment and then we'll be back shortly.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydboehm.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydboehm.com.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting throughout the break. I really do appreciate it. We are back here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners. During the break, Leanne, our guest, was backstage and she has now disappeared. So the technology obviously is an issue there in the UK. So we'll continue on with the show and hopefully she'll be able to join us. So what I'm going to do is, while Philip is out for the day, I'm actually going to share my screen and I'm going to walk us through the British School of Excellence and the offerings that they have, because I think this is a great way to spur some ideas for each and every one watching or listening about what is included in etiquette and manners. So let me share my screen. Okay, so here we are. This is the British School of Excellence.com, and there's lots of great information here. You can just request a callback. There's the telephone number, the email address, which is hello, HELLO, at the British School of Excellence.com. So here are some of the offerings. There's etiquette training, and I just love this. There's courses for adults, teenagers, and children, plus courses you can take online, webinars, and workshops. So let's just take a peek at some of the courses that are available for adults. There's the Polished Professional. I alluded to this one before. This is really terrific if you're interested in personal and professional development and growth and how to really stand out among your peers. There's also Train the Trainer, where you can learn skills as an etiquette coach. And this is a program that Philip runs, and we've had a number of graduates from the Train the Trainer program, and they all have fabulous things to say. Also learning private adult etiquette, how to make a great first impression. And this is where you can work, I would assume, in a smaller group, one-on-one, so that you can really dig deep into learning more about etiquette. And here's the Power of Listening. This is actually a course that I offer. I've teamed up with Philip and the British School of Excellence to be able to offer this course. My goal is to have everyone in the world learning how to listen at an elevated level. So we're going to stop sharing the screen because I see Leanne is backstage. So let me welcome her. Hi, Leanne.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. I'm so happy to be back.
I'm happy to have you back. Welcome.
Gosh, what a challenge. And I think I'm actually going to change the subject of my initial conversation to talk a little bit about this digital, wonderful world that we're living in.
Okay. Well, why don't you give us a little bit of background? First of all, how do you say your last name? I interact with you, but I don't have to say your last name.
Right.
So tell us.
Yes. Okay, so the surname is Miltun-Latecka. The second part of it is actually Polish, and that's from my husband's side. His surname is Latecki, but in Poland, the female version of the surname in many cases becomes an A, and the C is pronounced T, so Latecka.
Latecka, is that correct?
Latecka. Beautiful.
Very nice. Thank you. And where are you joining us from today, Leanne?
I'm actually in Warsaw, Poland today. I do work closely with Philip in London, but you know, the world being what it is these days, it's fantastic being able to integrate and communicate and take advantage of the wonderful digital situation that we find ourselves in.
I completely agree with you, because if we didn't have this technology, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. It would be impossible to have conversations like this, which are so relevant. Leanne, I'd love for you to share with our audience, why is it that you're passionate about etiquette and manners? What's the significance to you in your life?
You know, it is so absolutely key to the way we interact and engage with people. And, with having COVID caused a lot of chaos in the last 2 years, I think it's actually accentuated the need for etiquette and manners, because in this whole kind of digital environment, we have drifted off the path. We have drifted further and further away from each other, and communication has, in a certain degree, to a certain extent, broken down. So, you know, what I wanted to say is the technical difficulties that have been experiencing are absolutely classic. We are so dependent on the world being digitalized. It's both amazing and it's awful at the same time, because we cannot live without it. So, you know, just looking at some of the stats, you know, there are about going in the direction of 5 billion internet users worldwide, which represents about 60.18% of the total world population. So it's growing, it's bigger and bigger every year. On the one hand, it's fantastic to have information at our fingertips, but in the process, we have become somewhat lazy and complacent. There's a lack of concentration and distractions. We're not reading as much as we used to read. In fact, I'm terribly surprised these days when you see these digital articles that say it's a 1-minute read, 3-minute read, 5-minute read. And it makes me think, my goodness, you know, have we got no time anymore to be able to dedicate to reading? So that as background has caused us to disconnect. And, you know, as a result of that, we're also disconnecting from each other. And in the process, the good old-fashioned values of saying please, saying thank you, holding open doors for one another, being kind, being thoughtful, have to a certain extent deteriorated as well. You know, so I would like us to see that we bring back the old, you know, handwritten notes, thank you cards, invitations, and so on, and relook the whole aspect of etiquette and manners. It's nothing new. It's been going back many generations, many decades and centuries. But it just seems the world that we're living in has caused us to refocus and become almost impersonal to a certain degree. And I really wish that we could pay attention to it and you know, be more mindful. And I'm finding that no matter where I speak to prospective students in the world, everybody is speaking about the same issues. No matter where you are, whether it's Africa, whether it's the United States, United Arab Emirates, and so on, everybody is complaining that people have forgotten about good manners. So I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, which has been emphasized by the whole COVID issue.
Thank you, Leanne. I agree with you. You bring up a lot of really important points. How would you say that etiquette and manners are aligned with emotional intelligence? What are your thoughts?
You know, they go hand in hand. They are the best friends, because you can't have one without the other. You know, if you are emotionally intelligent and sensitive to the needs of other people, then etiquette and manners will come almost naturally.
Yes, thank you. And you're very involved with the British School of Excellence. I was walking our audience through the website. There's a lot of opportunity and potential for people to get out of their comfort zone, learn something new, and be part of a movement to be more mannerly, more uplifting and gracious to other people. So tell us a little bit, Leanne, about what it is you do at the British School of Excellence.
We have many courses that are directed at various age groups. For example, children, we start from the age of 5 up until about 11 or 12. And that's focusing on a course that we have called Etiquette, which is really around teaching children the essentials and the key points. We say it's never too early to start learning about good manners. For the teenagers, we've actually developed a series called Mindset and Resilience, which will be put up on our website during the course of the year. And what we've done here is we've looked at 3 different aspects. Currently, we offer Mindset and Manners, which is around 4 one-hour sessions. And this is about making first impressions, communication, mindset, resilience, time management, positive self-talk and affirmations, and also teaching young people how to prepare for interviews, because they very often find themselves in a situation where they're being interviewed for schools or universities or other tertiary organizations. And along with that goes presentation skills, which are really essential. So that's the first part. The second program is called Mindset and Motivation, and this is going to be completely new. And it starts off with a personality and behavioral assessment, and then it goes on to a vision board workshop. It's essentially a briefing session where the teenagers learn different types of vision boards and the background and different sort of ideas that they can create. They then bring this vision board and share it with the group. And then based on that, looking at their behaviors and talents, we then set some SMART goals for the year. We break it up into actionable steps and create a platform where they can share and discuss the way forward. We believe that schools are very involved with the school syllabus. So this kind of fits into the leadership skills program and leadership and life skills. Then the third part of the program is Mindset and Money, which I think is absolutely incredible, because I didn't have this opportunity at school and neither did my daughters. So this is a program which really revolves around the history and origins of money, different types of belief systems and attitudes towards money, budgeting, managing money, savings, investments, looking at careers and income, and active and passive income, digital shopping, tax and ethical buying, and giving back to the community. So I think this is quite a comprehensive package that would be really interesting and valuable to teenagers. So, just keep looking out on the website, and we will, definitely be launching these later on in the year.
Leanne, I am really excited to hear about these courses, because to your point, there's so many things that we don't learn when we're younger, that they don't teach us in school, that are really absolute necessities to be successful in life. And the fact that you're offering them where people can, as young people, get this knowledge and information sets them up for success for the future.
Absolutely. And, with our rebranding from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, we've actually made allowance to be able to offer many different courses in personal development. So it doesn't stop at etiquette and manners and emotional intelligence. We want to offer other programs that will broaden people's horizons and give them other opportunities. And like you say, if we don't learn these things at an early age, there could potentially be problems later in life, where you find yourself not understanding how to manage money, taking up a credit card and getting yourself into debt and not being able to repay, or alternatively taking up a whole lot of accounts with different shops and organizations.
Well, we just lost Leanne. Hopefully she'll be back. In the meantime, we have some comments from Adam. Hi, Adam. Thanks for being here today. Adam is actually our guest on Adversity to Awesome at noon Eastern time, which is 5 p.m. British Summer Time. So do stay tuned for that. And Adam has a follow-up comment. There are too many children and young people falling through cracks because of barriers in front of them to reach their full potential. And I was, for one, especially my son, that was put through those cracks. Wow. Thank you for your transparency, Adam, and sharing that. I appreciate it. Leanne's back. Welcome.
I'm back. And what I want to say, and what I usually say to Philip and our delegates on Train the Trainer, is what happens if the internet breaks? What if? Because, with the COVID situation, if somebody on the 1st of January 2020 had said to us, hey, world, guess what's going to happen? We would never have believed them. In the same case, I believe that, for all its wonderful worth, digital is amazing, but we really have to be prepared for the worst. So yes, thank you very much for that comment. Yeah, some children end up getting themselves into a lot of trouble because so much in this world has become materialistic. We believe that we need to buy things and have things in order to make us happy, but it's not necessarily the be all and end all. And I think it's really important to learn the seriousness of understanding money in particular, so that we avoid any sort of issues in the future.
great point. Thank you, Leanne. And in terms of these course offerings, are these online? They're in person? There's some combination thereof?
Yes, initially all three of the mindset and resilience programs will be offered online, but naturally, if we have a group that would like to join, then we can certainly look into offering them in person, both in London at some of our other global partners around the world.
And thank you. It's something I'm really interested in. We've had a number of people come on the platform. You were nice enough to bring them here, and they actually took the Train the Trainer course and are etiquette coaches. So, what does it mean to be an etiquette coach? And is this an opportunity for anyone and everyone?
It is the most incredible opportunity. And like I very often say to people, is that the sky is the limit. You know, they take the course. It's a very high level overview of the subject of etiquette and manners, but it's certainly by no means a shopping list of do's and don'ts. You know, anybody can Google those, read books, and so on. So it gives them a sort of like a blank screen to work off. And many people have different talents. Some come on the course because they love children. Others really enjoy working with teenagers. Others see themselves involved with adults and professional people. And we do have a number of trainers that are particularly interested in dining etiquette and afternoon tea. So they specialize in those areas. And it's really wonderful because you can honestly take this into a direction that you really love. And you know, it's incredible what some of the trainers have done. They come from all walks of life, from around the world, and are doing such tremendously interesting things. And the best part is about giving back to society and helping people to be better versions of themselves.
Thank you, Leanne. And what's the time commitment for someone to Train the Trainer? Is this something that goes on all year? Is it monthly? What are the opportunities?
Usually it's a 5-day intensive course, a Monday to Friday, about 6 hours a day. We have a course coming up at the end of June, which has actually been broken up into 8 smaller sessions. So they start at 8 until 11:30 British time. And it runs over these 8 sessions. So it's easier for them to come online. And we've also tried to provide for people in parts of the world, such as New Zealand and Australia, so that they have the ability not to have such an early start. So, you know, it's fairly intensive, but we believe in giving people those tools and giving them skills in that week. And then they can go away and focus on doing a personal assignment, which gets them prepared to be able to start up. So I always say to interested prospective students that the assignment isn't an academic exercise. It's something that they're going to be actually using, and it's a thought process. So they're able to think through, what are they offering? Who is their target market? What is the lesson plan? What are the various activities they're going to be doing? And usually that takes them about a month to complete, and then it gets verified, and then they're able to get their certification.
That's very exciting. And just to think about more people learning etiquette and manners and then being able to teach other people, it's like that domino ripple effect.
Absolutely. And I think it's just what the world needs right now. There's this gap. I think people are feeling to a certain extent lost, having some difficulty of reintegrating and being able to get out there. It's still, for me, slightly a culture shock, being able to not wear a mask and go out freely and to attend things in a crowd situation. But it's exactly what we need. And there is certainly a gap between academic and clinical skills and professional training. There is this opportunity for people to learn more in subjects, in soft skills that are somewhat neglected at this stage. And they're really important.
Yes, I have to agree with you on that. And something that I really am adamant about is for people to listen at an elevated level. As you know, I have a course about this. And what I find is I'll speak to someone about their listening skills and they'll believe that they are an excellent listener. But yet in engaging with them and watching them, I know that they weren't listening to me most of the time I was speaking. But yet
Absolutely.
we have this idea that we are great listeners, and maybe people don't want to find out that they're not as great a listener as they think. But my course really challenges people to look at role plays, and many times people will say, oh, that's me and my husband, oh, that's me and my daughter, I can see myself in those situations. And then they're able to take that information and really use it in their day-to-day life, much like what you're teaching there, what all the courses, the offerings are to help people be better personally and professionally. And I believe that that's really part of what we have to take on as human beings, is that personal accountability to be better for each other.
Absolutely. And I think what's also quite important is to understand each other's behavioral and personality style, because that affects communication directly. You know, there are 4 different simplistic differences in style. For example, we call it DISC. DISC is widely available. You can read up on it, you know, all over the internet, but it really stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. And if we're able to understand ourselves and understand our style, and then be able to understand the styles of other people, then we're in a so much better position to be able to listen to them and to communicate with them in the style that they prefer and which works for them. I'm always joking about my husband and I, because our communication styles are completely different. He likes information delivered slowly, quietly, so that he can process. And I generally think and speak really quickly. So I have to adjust the way I speak to him and the way I listen to him, and vice versa. So it's actually quite fun.
I really appreciate the fact that you shared something personal about that, because it is true. When we understand how people like to be communicated with, then we can have a much more effective engagement with that person, and both people walk away feeling really good about it, as opposed to being frustrated and feeling unheard. And many times we get into these behavior patterns that we don't recognize in ourselves. And so we are the one who has the power to change ourselves. I cannot change you, you cannot change me, but it all starts with us and being honest. Is there room for improvement? Of course there is. There's always room for growth. We just have to be open to it and committed to it. We do have a follow-up question from Adam. Thank you, Adam. I have a question. Why do you think teachers more focus on the behavioral side of children and young people rather than the psychological and emotional side, especially SEN kids?
I think looking into the psychological and emotional side is very important. But in terms of behavior, you know, we also do some assessments which are based on DISC, but they have been translated for children. So we've taken the adult styles and converted them into bird styles for children. For example, the highly dominant characteristic is an eagle. The compliant style is an owl. Then we have the high I, which is a parrot, and the S is a dove. So if we take and understand how children communicate and how they process and what their behaviors are, then I think it makes it a lot easier to be able to teach and understand. Because some children process in a quiet way. It might be psychological, but they might want to sit quietly and learn and be conscientious. Others might be more sporty and outgoing and want to go out and be the center of attention. And it also helps us to not judge children and say just because they're quiet, it doesn't mean that they're bright or that they're necessarily totally introverted. So I think all of this understanding is very important, because it makes then focusing on children in the classroom and at home a lot easier.
Excellent. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you, Adam, for the question. I actually am certified in DISC, and I did the course myself, obviously, to get certified, and found out that I was a parrot eagle.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
How about you? Do you know what you are?
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful learning curve because essentially I'm a high I. I'm out there, I'm influential and quite conscientious, but under pressure, that all goes out the window. It's like, let's get this job done. We've got a deadline to meet. So my learning through this is that I have to be so careful that I don't tramp on other people's toes. And even though I have this knowledge and understanding, I still find myself going down the same hole. In the same way where I speak to my husband fast and I realize, there I go again, slow down. So I constantly have to be correcting my own behavior. But it's wonderful. I think the beauty of it is that you can constantly work towards improving yourself, and you can work on these things. It's not, for example, I'm not a singer. I will never be a singer. The best singing teacher in the world will not help me. But there are things that I can work on and focus on. And I think that is what's so amazing about this. And, just on the subject of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence and how this all ties in, I think we had to, if we summarized it as one simple line, it all goes back to the platinum rule, to be able to treat people the way they want to be treated. Then I think everything is really simple, because we think before we speak, we think before we listen, we think before we act. And I think that's the most simplistic view of the whole subject.
Yes, I love that you broke it down that way. And I'd like to add to that also that many times we have something going on with us and we're not actually processing it, but we're reacting. And then we immediately dump it onto someone else. And we don't ask for permission to just take all of our issues and just throw it onto you. And so I think that we really need to be able to process, what are we feeling in certain situations, and what's the proper way to deal with it, to address it. Is it to just call up someone randomly and don't even ask if this is an appropriate time? Are you available to speak to me, Leanne? Do you have 10 minutes that I can share what's going on? Instead, we just pick up that phone, somebody answers it, and we just launch into blah, 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 blah. And so I think we need to be more conscientious of how we're processing the information that we are taking in. Are we actually looking at the situation, looking at how we're responding to it, or are we just reacting and putting it out on someone else?
Absolutely. Firstly, Philip talks a lot about the 6-second rule. If you're in a situation where somebody says something or does something that may infuriate you, hold your breath, count to 6, process, think about it before you respond. I add on to this whole scenario and say you should leave. Leave the conversation, leave the room, leave the house, go for a walk. If you're not able to contain your behavior and your feelings, because it's not really fair on the other person for you to have an outburst. So yes, very, very important to keep the peace.
I love that idea of taking a step away. And you can even excuse yourself and say, I'd love to speak with you about this, but I need some time and I'm going to be taking it right now. Thank you for your understanding.
Yeah, I very often give myself 24 hours. If you're really in the heat of the moment, you really feel like sending that email, I stop it right there. I write it, I leave it in draft, I park it. I go process. And you find when you come back the next day, everything is far more objective. You've had a chance to calm down and to be able to look at it objectively. And I think these days we're far too emotional. We tend to just let go and say how we feel like saying things without considering the other person. The other thing is, in a lot of corporate and business environments, we are very guilty of just sending that email. Dear so-and-so, I would like the report by Friday, 5 p.m. There's no sort of pleasantries. And at the British School of Excellence, we do focus on whether it's sending an email or sending a message to somebody to say, hello, how are you? I hope this email finds you well. I hope you're having a great week, etc. before you launch into the actual content, because it can come across as being quite insensitive. And I think in this day and age, we need to bring back that caring and consideration for other people, because we're people after all. We're human beings, not human doings. So it's just about bringing back the good old-fashioned values and being sensitive to other people, and to treat each other with respect.
Yes, I applaud that. That is exactly what we need. And something else I'd like to add, I interview people all the time, 26 shows a week, going to 30 something. And I don't judge what anyone says, believe it or not, but I watch other people. We have 3 people on this screen. I watch one person judging another person. You can just see they switch off. They're no longer listening because you said something that they didn't agree with. And as humanity, we need to stop doing this, because that's what makes this world what it is, that we have different perspectives and different opinions. And even when it comes to something that we're steadfast against because we don't believe we're going to be safe if XYZ or happens, we still have to listen to the other person, because if we don't listen, that just creates that animosity and that tension. And that's how I feel we walk down this path of violence and disrespect. It really starts with respecting one another and being open to listening. It doesn't mean you have to agree with the person, but let them share what they have to share. What are your thoughts on that, Leanne?
Absolutely. And I think also, just an interesting note, I had a training group of young teenagers quite recently. And at the end of the mindset and manners, I asked them, what was your biggest takeaway point? And they said that they were very concerned about judging people too quickly. You know, we talk a lot about first impressions, and that is about how we present ourselves to the world. But if we flip that over, we shouldn't judge other people too quickly. You know, and they talk about having judging people in 3 to 6 seconds. And apparently online with, for example, a Zoom call, we judge people in 3 seconds, which is really crazy. And so their learning is to go away and to be more considerate about how they view other people, because just because of things people say or how they react or their views or what they're wearing, you know, if we judge them in a couple of seconds, I mean, that's really unfair. You need to give people a fair chance to be able to express and explain their thoughts and take it objectively. We're not all built the same. You know, as much as we would like everybody to be exactly like us, look like us, speak like us, eat the same things, we're not. We're really different. And we need to respect that. And, you know, thank goodness. Otherwise, this world would be such an incredibly boring place. So I'm all for people being different and having different views and opinions.
I completely agree with that. I remember when I was a young person, I went to New York City with my parents, and we were at a restaurant, and there were people who didn't look like me, and they were speaking in different languages. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. I love this. I love that people don't look the same and they don't speak the same language, because there's so much to learn. And I think if we thought more about life like that it's an adventure, to be curious, to be open, that we would get along much better. And if you think about, and I'm not an expert when it comes to understanding violence, I'm not an expert when it comes to mental health, but I do believe it started before that person took the action that they took. It started somewhere where somebody wasn't listening to them, and then somebody else wasn't listening to them, and so on and so on. And then this wall of resentment and anger gets built up. They're just my thoughts. And again, I'm not a professional in those areas, but I love what you shared today, Leanne. And I think you should be a regular guest, actually. You have a lot of really good insights. So how can people work with the British School of Excellence? We've been talking about it. We showed the websites. If just to give some takeaways for people, and maybe also a second point would be just an etiquette or manners tip to take away as we enter the weekend. Maybe some parts of the world, we're already into the weekend, where we get to let our hair down a little bit, but we still have to have good manners and good etiquette.
I think what would be such incredible fun is to go away this week, and for the next week, do random acts of kindness. There's actually a channel on TikTok where people go out and really go out of their way to be kind to other people, to pay compliments, to open doors, to be kind in the traffic, and so on. And I think if we all go and do one random act of kindness, we can set the world in a much better place. I personally love doing this because it gives me such immense pleasure to see the delight on people when you hold the door for them, or you help them, or if they drop something, you help them pick it up, and so on. Just on my recent visit to London, I was so pleasantly surprised on many occasions where people offered to help with a suitcase. Sometimes they would just pick it up and carry it down to the bottom of the stairs where you were going and just walk quietly off. Or else they would say, can I help you with that? And they would. And I just think it's so incredible, because the more of us that do that, the bigger the sense of goodwill is. And I think people can learn a lot from that. We need to change our behavior and our manners and our thoughts on other people. So let's all go away and make the world a better place, at least for the next 7 days, if not longer.
Thank you so much, Leanne. I love that random acts of kindness. We have two of our expert correspondents from the UK, Helena Shard and Ian Pelham-Turner, and they actually have started an official kindness project over in London, which we'll hear more about, and hopefully we'll be able to bring it here in the States. But I'd love to spotlight you and have you share your information, how people can reach out to you and who you want to contact you.
Right. I think anybody who's interested in any of our personal development courses, please visit our website. That is the British School of Excellence.com. We've got a number of courses for different age groups. We've got a Train the Trainer coming up soon. We have a Polished Professional course coming up soon. And if you need any information, please email me, call me. You can send a WhatsApp to that number. And I'm very happy to set up a Zoom call where we can chat one-to-one and discuss our programs and what best fits you. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Excellent. Thank you. And again, great interview. I'm so glad that you're here today. And please do come back and see us, whether it's on this show or any of our other shows. I'd love to have this interaction. I feel this connection with you, and I'd love to continue supporting your work.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I apologize for the digital challenges.
Okay, you made it here. You brought the value. So that's what's important.
Absolutely.
All right. And thank you again for everything you do to help with this platform and bringing us fabulous guests.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Also, Adam, thank you so much for engaging. We really love when you put comments and engage with us, because we know you're out there watching, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So our next show is coming up. It's Talking Heads. And on the Talking Heads show, we have our expert presenter, and she is an acting coach. She's a filmmaker. She's an actress, and she is working with me actually in a number of ways. And I'm excited to start the show with her. So I'm going to go over to the other studio, and you can stay where you are. And we'll be bringing back Christine Amy Artner and one of her acting students. So it should be a really great show. Thanks again. And thank you to Philip Sykes, and thank you to Leanne, and thank you to the British School of Excellence. We'll be right back soon.